let's stay in international diplomacy with this week. Well, that's actually the second week of the UN General Assembly. However, the general debate, which is, the big meeting, begins this week on Tuesday with at least 188 heads of state, heads of government, and other high-ranking officials preliminarily set to speak in New York through September 29th. So already sparking dismay ahead of this year's event, and this story comes from Al Jazeera. Already sparking dismay has been a decision by the United States under the Trump administration to withhold or revoke visas for Palestinian Authority and PLO officials to attend the gathering. That comes at the same time that France and Saudi Arabia are set to host a conference on Israel and Palestine, promising to join several European countries in officially recognizing a Palestinian state. Last week, Belgium became the latest country to do so, following France, Malta, Australia, Canada, and the UK. Abdul, thoughts on the Israeli-Palestinian angle vis-a-vis the UN General Assembly, the visa ban, and the recognition from these foreign countries?
Well, still, proverb may live to see interesting times. I think we're interesting with a capital I, believe it or not. I look at it like this. At the end of the day, this is going to sound really bad, but Arabs and Israelis and Palestinians have been basically fighting over desert for 6,000 years. It's a desert. We visit the desert. We go gamble in the desert. We don't live in the desert. And in a nutshell, they're basically fighting over land that's basically, it's a dispute that's 6,000 years old. And I don't know how you stop people from wanting to kill each other who are basically related to each other. Family fights are sometimes the worst fights in the entire universe. Now, with that said, the United Nations, it is what it is. And I think it's interesting that these other countries are, recognizing, Palestine as an independent state once and for all, and basically saying, what the U.S. is going to do, what the U.S. is going to do, fine, we're going to go do our thing and move on.
Because the U.S. will veto at the UN Security Council any effort to formally recognize a Palestinian state by the larger body. So this year we are seeing, this is from the same article, multilateralism challenged from inside and out. Despite UN leadership seeking to strike a celebratory tone, as this is the institution's 80th anniversary, the last decade has been punishing for the global cooperation the body has long spearheaded. Obviously, Trump in his first administration withdrew the U.S. from the Paris Climate Accord, the WHO, and the UN Human Rights Council. Then former President Biden got us back into those things. Trump gets reelected, takes us all out. Not good for stability and consistency. Certainly. Also, this administration, Trump has undertaken widespread cuts to foreign aid, including hundreds of millions of dollars to UN agencies and caps on further spending. Despite this, the UN still is far and away the largest funder of the UN. So, with the U.S. sort of receding from its leadership role, China has for years sought more influence in the UN, particularly through peacekeeping missions, and then also South Africa and Jamaica this year have really leaned into UN mechanisms like the International Court of Justice, leading the charges against Israel for their genocide. Tracie, I'm going to ask your thoughts on the rest of this week's General Assembly.
I don't know what to say about that. Like I'm not actually probably the right person to talk to about that. So I am going to boot that one over to Abdul.
No worries. Hey, my name is Abdul. So when it comes to the Middle East, I know I'm an expert. Yeah, whatever. Like I said, Welcome to politics in the 21st century. You know, this is it. I'm just waiting for Khan Noonien Sung to pop up, to be honest with you.
I mean, Cliff, I remember when folks our age were growing up, you get to a certain age and you do the mock UN, right? I think mock was supposed to be a adjective there and not a verb.
I was a dirtbag back then. I was an academic dirtbag, but I was a dirtbag nevertheless. I didn't hang out with the model UN people. I hung out with theater geeks and other nerds. However, the one thing that I'm waiting for is I just want to see the whole theater. Speaking of theater, I want to see this whole theater of Mondami personally arresting Benjamin Netanyahu.
Well, we're going to have to wait till next year because, the election in New York is going to be after this week, this week's visit from the Israeli Prime Minister.